So imagine a scenario. You are a therapist and you have a number of clients and you are going away on holiday. How do you convey that to your clients? Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome to Therapy Business School. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. For those who don't know me, my name is James Taylor. I'm an online counsellor, hypnotherapist, life coach, hypnotherapy supervisor, YouTuber, podcaster and author. All right. That's such a mouthful. I'm glad we got that out the way. So, what do you do if you're going to go away on holiday? And this is something that I thought would be a good topic to discuss because I'm about to go away and work in a different place for a month. I'm still going to be working, but I'm not going to be based in the UK for the next month-ish. But what about if you're going away on holiday and you're not going to be present for your clients? Does that bring up some feelings within you, maybe some apprehension about how am I going to say it to my clients? How are they going to be? Does client X, they're going through something at the moment, I'm not going to be there for them in the therapy session? Or are you totally the other end of the scale where you think, oh, it's okay, I can manage it? Well, it does need to be managed because it's potentially an elephant in the room for you. Now, for anyone who's watched any of these videos, you'll know that I often say a lot, I like elephants. I love elephants. I just don't want one in the room with me, all right? So if you know that you're going away on holiday, you're going to have to plan this accordingly. Now, what I wouldn't recommend is disclosing too much about your holiday destination. I would suggest just keeping it very, very light, very informal. So it wouldn't be a case of, I'm going to Disney World, I'm going to France, I'm going to Universal Studios, I'm going to Greece, we're going on a beach holiday, we're going on a caravan holiday. I wouldn't disclose those kind of details because then in the session, you're more talking about you for an extended period. And I wouldn't recommend doing that because they're the client, it's their session, but you do need to manage it. And you need to manage some expectations as well. So instead of doing this, what I'd recommend you do, and this is what I do with my own client base, is to say, just to let you know, I'm going to be away, and I might not even use the word holiday. Not because I'm trying to be deceitful in any way. It's just that the fact if it's a holiday, if it's a business trip, it's not really relevant. What is relevant is I'm not going to be around. All right. So the way I would say it, and feel free to steal this, is, I'm not going to be around for the next 2 weeks. So I was thinking we need to get a date in a diary to think about when our session before I go away is there. And then get another session in the diary for when I'm back within that 2 week period. So that deals with the diary appointment side of things. But what about if a client is stressed? What about if a client is going through some stuff at the moment and you've been one of their support structures while they're going through this particular thing or things? Well, what's a good idea I'd recommend is to put a plan in place and maybe talk about, if you've brought it up in sessions, what coping mechanisms the client has discovered they either have or are working on. Does that make sense? So you can bring it up in session, so with that thing that you've been working on, where you're journaling, maybe you're meditating, maybe you're doing affirmations, maybe you're doing a bit of self-care where you're going to sleep a bit earlier, or you're not drinking so much, or you're trying to, you started exercising more, or you're being aware of your own thoughts and feelings, you're going for a walk. All these different kind of things that a client may maybe have put in place for themselves. It's good to say to the client, not for you to get reel off the list, but it might be an idea to say to a client, because I'm not going to be around for 2 weeks, what coping mechanisms do you think would work for you or be a good fit for you in the time we're not going to see each other? And then go quiet. Let them think about what they believe will be good coping mechanisms for them to adapt and adopt and encourage in between the 2 sessions. And I'd probably recommend that's far better for them to think of what might work for them, as opposed to you reeling off a shopping list of things that you think might work for them. Now, what about a case of emergencies? What about if they really need someone? So this might be a thing that you need to discuss as well. So it might be an idea that you're given some contact numbers for some charitable organisations. So let's say, for instance, we're talking about someone who has, let's say it's a drink problem, for the sake of argument, and you're helping a client get past this and become a version of themselves that doesn't drink, or drinks less, or they're working on the reasons why they drink, this kind of thing. Well, an obvious one, if they're an alcoholic, I'm making this stuff up as I go along for this scenario, but if they're an alcoholic, it might be, okay, what support mechanisms are in your area for people who have a drink problem? Is there a support network? I'm not saying go there, I'm not saying engage with them, but if the need arises and you feel like you need a little bit of extra support, could you perhaps lean on them? Now, you could even go the extra mile on this, but again, you've got to be boundaried. What you could potentially do is, if you've got a good working relationship with any support networks, you could contact them, and it might be an idea to do this anyway, just for your own frame of reference, really, and your own knowledge base, is that you wouldn't be ringing this support agency and saying, I've got client X, I'm going away for 2 weeks, then you disclose and stuff. But it could be an idea where you just, for your own knowledge base, you contact these organisations and say, what's the procedure if someone needs your help? Do they just ring the number that's on the website, or can they drop in? Are you open 24/7? Is it certain days you're open? What happens when you're closed? Who do you refer on to? Do you see what I mean? So you can then pass this information on to a client. So it's also like safeguarding beforehand, and it's a good thing to do. Now, something that you might find is when you come back from your holiday, you may find the client is different. And they might be different because they've built up a resilience within themselves because you wasn't around. And they haven't been leaning on you so much because you wasn't there. You were away on holiday. And that can be really good for their own growth. And it's also good to bring up in the first session after the holiday. So how have things been since our last session? And see what happens. I also wouldn't disclose the fact it's a holiday you're going on, because not only does that give information about you, but if you're working with the client and finances are a bit difficult, or it might make them think, I've got no one to go on holiday with. I can't afford a holiday. No one would want to go on holiday with me. It can bring on potential thoughts and feelings by you disclosing too much. I also wouldn't have this conversation on what's going to be the last session before you go away either. So at the time of this recording, we're now in July of 2023, the beginning of July of 2023. So let's say you were going away in the first week of August. So it might be an idea to say around about mid-July, for instance, just to let you know, I'm going to be away for 2 weeks from the 1st of July, from the 1st of August to the 14th of August. So it might be an idea for us both to have a think about what support mechanisms do you feel you might need in that 2 week period. You might not need any, but if we can talk about that, if that's all right, and see if we can get something in place for that 2 week period, just in case you do feel like you need some extra support. And then we can think about a date in a diary for when I'm back around the 14th, 15th of August. How does that sound? And just deliver it really, really light-hearted. Because don't forget, the kind of work that we do, it can be incredibly stressful for you as the therapist in the room, hearing this stuff, perhaps for the first time, or maybe you've heard it before from this client, but you're getting more detail. They're giving more depth to their background, to their story, their trauma, whatever they're bringing to the session. They might be disclosing more and more. And you're sitting there and you're really attentively listening. You need your break. You definitely need your break. So it's important that you take it. It's an idea to think, how can I professionally assist my client with that situation, and plan for it beforehand. All right. So a few things to think of. As I say, I'm going to be away myself. I'm going to be away in a different country for a month. So I'm not going to be in my little den here where I have my recording equipment. So this is going to be a little bit of a break from me to you during these uploads that I put onto YouTube. So I'm going to miss you. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. And I've also I've got a few ideas for other videos that I'd like to make when I get back. If there's anything that you'd like me to have a talk about, ask. Don't ask, don't get. So put them in the comments and I'll give you my thoughts or things that I might do in certain situations. If that's software reviews, product reviews, possible scenarios. Just be mindful if you do put anything in the comments and it is client related. You're not disclosing anything client related. Should be very general. Any tips around X, Y, and Z or whatever it might be. And if I can help you, I will. All right. Please also remember to do the like, the share, and the subscribe. I ask this all the time. I know I do. And if you've watched these videos, you probably know why I ask. If this is your first time, it's because it helps the YouTube algorithm identify that this video might be nice to pass around to other people in a therapy space. All right. So please do that. It helps YouTube and it definitely helps this channel and it helps me. And if you want any detail covered, let me know. So I will see you when I get back from I wouldn't say it's a holiday, it's more like a working holiday, but I'll see you when I get back from where I'm going. My best wishes to you. This is James and this is Therapy Business School. Bye bye.